And welcome to Probability of Demise. No razzing. Hello, everybody. I'm Rurik, and you're listening to Probability of Demise.
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 I really want to go with that graphic that I talked to Jason about, but I didn't talk to you all about yet, and I really got to get my act together. We're a group of...
If it helps, I don't know what you're talking about because I have a terrible memory. So
Solid. We're a group of storytellers who use Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition to provide rules and structure to Atland. A world of our own making, Atland exists in a version of Earth thousands of years into the future. An octopolar planet whose residents barely remember the natural and man-made disasters that once left their world nearly uninhabitable. This is a world far different from the one you know today. A world of new magics and ancient spells, young gods and primordial deities. Thank you for coming with us as we explore it together.
thank you.
I am not alone here because that would be a really weird storytelling D&D podcast and kind of creepy.
I want you to have it. That's what ridiculous is going to be about.
Ridiculous. Yes, that's right.
It's
Play
just
all the characters.
You are the DM, and all of the characters just going batshit for 3 hours.
That's just a TikTok. You know that, right? That's just like a regular everyday TikTok. So, surrounded by the people, and I'm going to go in inverse order from last time, mostly because this is pre-recorded, and so I remember the order from last time.
so long ago.
So,
Minutes and
Larissa,
minutes ago.
Larissa, would you introduce your character first?
Hi, I'm Larissa. I play Trixie, who is an anthropomorphic squirrel. She likes to hit stuff with her fists and with her shovel. She also is a very big fan of maple syrup and anything that isn't nut or nut flavored.
She's nuts, but she's not into them.
I'm just nuts. I'm not nuts for nuts.
And I lied because I clearly couldn't remember the order from before. So Jess, why don't you go next and save Jason for last?
Lovely. I am Jessica. I will be playing the role. I'm not sure what I'm trying to say. I've lost my mind. I'm Tanzanite, a well-to-do, highly thought of herself elven woman, child. She's not a woman yet. She's still a girl.
I'm not a girl.
But
Sorry.
who
These
is the
crazy
goddess
kids.
of death? So
Or at least on the path
In
to
on the
training.
path
that
of
space.
yeah.
Which is very exciting. Except, thanks.
Because we may have inadvertently killed the goddess of death, and now,
You know, when you take out a primordial, not yet composed deity that needs to reclaim their space, and they might need a replacement for that job.
I feel like takeout is such a strong term.
Disincorporate their source of power such that they can't survive anymore.
I feel like
blowed up.
I mean, they kind of offered.
I give myself to you, the ultimate
Yeah,
sacrificial
yeah.
deity.
Yeah, it wasn't hostile on our part, nor was it intended. It was just kind of like, here you
It's a
go.
series of unfortunate events, which is also a book series. And then Jason.
Hi. I'm Jason. I play Asher. Asher is the son of a tavern employee in his hometown who actually turned out to be the leader of the hometown's secret council, and he's also a poet and a bard and casts spells with haiku poetry. The end.
So he's a poet who knew it but didn't know it.
Yes.
Don't encourage. Don't encourage, Rick.
I'm happily encouraging self-flee.
Okay.
This is what happens when we play a session right after another session.
It's all
this is
good.
what you get.
It's
What are
solid.
you talking about? This is a totally new day.
I mean,
Yes.
this
Yeah.
is
I'm
totally
Wearing a totally
another
different
day.
shirt.
I am wearing a different shirt because I got cold in the last one.
Jess had a sweater on that's now gone, so Jess is
Yeah, I
theoretically
got
dressed
hot,
different.
so I'm different.
Yeah,
Oh.
you did. How you doing?
Such is our world, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
So announcements. Before Larissa shares the awesome announcements she's got going on, I just realized I needed to say this because this is a pre-recorded podcast, that if we say or do anything that doth offend, we are but shadows who will make amends in 2 weeks.
Well, in a week from when you're seeing it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Leave it in the comments, and maybe
if
we'll
you've
even read
been
them.
watching and you aren't and you haven't been offended yet, then it's highly unlikely we'll say something that will offend you. But if you're just joining us and we say something that offends you,
Sorry.
And please help us learn how to do it more effectively if you're a really mean person.
we are always open to feedback.
We are open to your feedback. We're
open to reading your feedback.
Hey,
What we
look,
do with it is not guaranteed.
there's feedback. Let's rewrite it. So, Larissa,
Yes.
I know you have big event coming.
Big event.
Actually, I do have a big event that's happening sooner.
Oh, really?
Because we're in the
Yes.
future.
Give me 1 second. Let me
Oh,
just
yeah,
pull
I
up.
forgot you got invited to do a thing.
I got invited to do a thing. What are you talking about?
Yeah, wait.
How many events do you have going on, Larissa?
Your thing in the village, your singing thing. I don't want to name the place because if you're not doing it, then never mind.
Oh, that's a personal thing. No.
Okay.
But that was why I was asking when Jessica was leaving. I got asked to sing. It's not in the village. It's at Don't Tell Mama. The people that I used to do the occasional cabaret with at the duplex are
Oh.
doing, like, it's their first one back at after COVID, and they asked me to sing. So I was going to see what kind of interest I can get for people to come.
Cool.
But
Wait, what's the date of that? You've already shared it.
it's the first.
Oh, dang it. So I can't go. So someone in my
Right.
place, please attend.
I will share more information.
We will get together
Yes,
and play live the day before? No.
2 days.
2 days before.
Yeah.
So
On the
all of the
20
details.
or
This is more like a
30th.
tingler. A
Yeah, it's a
taster.
teaser.
Teaser.
Tingler.
Teaser.
Much
It's a
better than
tingler.
In Rurik's world, teasers are tinglers, and that just explains a lot.
Hang on. Let me see. Where is it?
This information makes me feel kind of funny.
My
Here we
tingling
go.
fits are tingling. Who let the
Okay.
4-year-olds in?
So
All right, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
So
We'll see you next week.
Stonewall is throwing a Halloween party on
When?
August the 29th.
August?
October the 29th. Sorry. I
That
haven't
is
had
the-
any coffee today.
That's the Stonewall Chorale, not the Stonewall Tavern.
Yes. Stonewall Chorale is throwing a Halloween party on Saturday, October 29th at 6:30 p.m. at St. John's in the Village. Our host is going to be Miss Fabulous herself. Her name is Temple Grande. She's a bearded queen who also sings with the New York City Gay Men's Chorus. There's going to be nosh, there's going to be booze, there's going to be not booze. The chorus will get up and sing at one point. Temple's going to do a couple of numbers, and we're going to have various chorus members performing in a cabaret style performance. So and it's only slotted for about 2 hours. So if you don't have earlier Halloween plans and you have a costume that you want to show off, visit stonewallchorale.org and scroll down a little bit. And you'll see a link to purchase tickets for the Halloween party. So we'd love to see your spoopy selves there. It is Gay Christmas. So it is the Rainbow Mafia's holiday of choice. So
Yeah, so that's gonna be a big week because
Wait, what
so-
are you going dressed as?
I don't know yet. I think I have to decide on what I want to sing. I'm contemplating Minnie the Moocher because it has some audience participation. Do you know the song, Rick?
Ah, yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Hey folks, here's the story about Minnie the Moocher.
Yeah.
She was a low down
Cool.
hoochie goocher. So maybe like a flapper or something. We'll see. Even though Cab Calloway technically was popular in the 30s and 40s, there aren't really like 30s and 40s themed that aren't like Rosie the Riveter or like an army nurse kind of thing. So we'll
Do a
see.
flapper outfit sort of
Yeah.
look. And,
Yeah.
yeah, so tomorrow in future pre-recorded, but we know that tomorrow's the 24th time, is United Nations Day, which I think is a really great opportunity to kind of just think about how we all work internationally. And then we get to go to, well, everybody else gets to go to the Halloween party put on by Stonewall Chorale on the 29th. And then everybody gets to spend between the 24th and the 29th desperately putting together their costumes because that's what happens when you procrastinate. And I have not experienced procrastinated Halloween design in so long that I am panicked that I actually have to experience it this year because I moved and now I have to put together a costume. I think I'm going to do a dragon pirate skeleton. This is what happens when you have to throw things together. Just more ideas than actual sense.
Are we going to dress up for next session?
Ooh, I'd be down for that. I have
We
to
wear
be
our
ready by then.
costumes. Jason's like, shit, now I have to get a costume. You could be a gangster to my flapper.
What do you think, Jess? Are you in?
he looks so scared.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have a pile of Comic-Con costumes.
Yeah,
to
I
draw
mean, you
from,
can just
so-
cosplay any of those. You could do Sailor Moon.
Yeah.
Oh wait, did you send any of those things back?
Jeff Bezos may have refunded all those for us.
That's all good. It's all good. Not
Never mind.
recorded, not on here, not posted. Nobody knows.
To
all
the future us, me could take care of that.
I mean, we all have costume stuff. We can throw. That's what we should do. Except for me, because I don't have anything except for the bare bones, and so it's literally going to be
Just randomly whatever
random
costume
junk.
shit you have.
But you should like
just put
look
that
at
on.
your costume junk and like create.
I'm
a
gonna wear my
character.
kilt just because Jess won't be able to see it, and it'll drive her crazy.
That's so mean. Oh, that's so
I
mean.
hate that. I hate it.
Oh. All right, we digress.
Jess is going to be showing up in person for that session.
In our
we
break,
digress.
I'm gonna just
All
like
right.
change from this location to that location, and you'll just see me in Jason's square.
Oh god.
All right. Well, thank you all for joining us. So many cool things coming up. Larissa's got a ton of stuff going on. But now we're going to put Jess on the spotlight and ask her what the word of the day is.
Word
Squeaky,
of the
squeaky.
day.
Word of the day.
The word of the day is acquiesce. To accept,
Ooh.
agree, or give consent by keeping silent or by not raising objections.
I really like that word. I like saying acquiesce. It sounds like what you're doing. Yes, my lord, we acquiesce to your demands.
I am disinclined to acquiesce to your request.
Nice.
Oh, I can't take credit for that. That's from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, I know. That's why it's like nice to the quoting. We are skipping commercial because this is pre-recorded and such is life. And now the easiest role for recap that we will ever have.
I'll probably lose.
And
it.
I still worry that I might have forgotten everything. Because normally when we roll for recap, I've actually rewatched the session a few times with the recording. The last time I didn't because Jason did all the work. But usually I've had like a couple of doses.
13.
17! Just say it, Jess.
12.
Yay!
4. Okay. Last time on probability of demise. Let's see. We started off kind of all individually running or doing some things while we were resting. Veritar had his bracelet checked out by a very exhausted Jill, who basically explained that it was like what was it, a ring of advantage, basically. Then we went and picked up the various items that we were having crafted. Tanzanite got her what are they called?
It's calling it a tiara. It's
Yes.
not a tiara. It's the ones that like sit on your forehead, not
Circlet?
sit on your head.
A circlet?
I think so, actually. I think you're right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And then Jason got his new gun. Very, very
he
new
got
gun.
the pew pew of pew pew.
Trixie attuned with her new toy as well. Oh goodness. Okay. The townspeople tried to, like, the new council tried to initiate a barter with Trixie for basically the knowledge that she gave them with all the healing assistance that she did when they were clearing out the tunnels. The negotiation was kind of one-sided because our group of characters don't really view helping people as like a
Commodity?
as a commodity.
Which is funny because Tanzanite loves things.
But in the end, in a group effort, we managed to work out that they would armor for every person that was trained through Trixie's techniques. They would provide armor for that same number of people in Overton, or the allies of Overton. And we also got, I think, accommodations whenever we need them. Was the house thrown in or not? Yes?
I think we're opening an embassy.
Out because you were interrupted mid negotiations by.
Yeah, I don't know if any of this was ever fully agreed to. Because
all right, well, that was where it was headed, at least. And then they were Veritar and his siblings, I think, were doing a ritual in order to find Tiamat, or at least that was the impression that Veritar was given. And then the council smartass, and then the council what they were like, no, this was to shield us, but I guess it didn't work because all of a sudden we were being attacked by Tiamat and 5 very large dragons. So everybody,
which is 10 total dragon heads if you're counting.
Yes, if you're keeping count.
Yes, there were 10 heads involved, and
yes. So at that point, all of the layman's folk decided to rush into the tunnels as we were attempting to run out. The Veritar and his siblings were the first out originally, and then Trixie caught up rather quickly. Then there were 2 of also Asher fixed the portal, and right as he did that, 2 of the, how is it pronounced? I always feel like
Githzerai.
What is it?
Githzerai.
Okay.
That's how I say it. I don't know if it's right.
2 of the 3 Githzerai came through the portal, and so they also went out to assist. And as Asher and Tanzanite caught up with everyone else, Asher polymorphed Trixie into a rock, rock giant bird.
Big birdie.
Big bird. That's a big bird. Sorry.
Where's Eric when you
Vocal stim. And everybody kind of spread out into like a defensive formation. And through various attacks, we lost the two Githzerai to an unfortunate melting situation.
We would have lost anybody in the party to that melting
acidic
situation.
persuasion.
That was a dangerous roll.
And then the siblings actually teleported over and did a lot of lightning damage to the dragon and killed it. And then as the dragon fell, Tanzanite, who originally was strategically placed under the dragon, was at that point disadvantagedly so placed underneath.
I mean, she was in a really good spot
collapsing dragon
until dead dragon.
Until it wasn't.
Yes. And so kind of the last little bit of the battle was Tanzanite reacting quickly in order to protect herself from minimal damage and death by crushing of dragon, death by being crushed by a dead dragon. And Veritar and his siblings took off to chase after Tiamat, since it was the closest they had come to. Yes, to catching.
That was beautiful.
Her.
If only all of our recaps were this in depth and knowledgeable.
Well, this is the first time I've ever actually had to recap.
We might have to like weight her dice so that she rolls not once. All right, so let us begin and dive back into this story where we once left off.
Bye, Veritar. Bye.
Yes. Asher and Trixie in rock form, looking off in the distance as as Veritar and crew leave. Tanzanite.
I guess I can like drop the concentration on the polymorph.
Well, I mean,
no, you're where you're at. Tanzanite, you're enshrouded in shadows. They're holding you safe within the cocoon. You see nothing, but you can kind of get a sense through the shadows what's going on around you. But mostly, by pulling this magic and expending such a huge amount of these divine energies within yourself, you felt another burst of power flowing that's going to need direction. And you also are aware of sizzling going all around you on the outside. And additionally, the shadows seem to have gained a little bit more of your attention, maybe, or they've just embedded themselves deeper because you can hear their screams as they burn away through the acid, as this body is still on top of you. You are protected, but you can hear the shadows dying. So, Asher and Trixie, you are successful. Trixie, you are deep in an acidic eyeball.
I would have, as I felt the dragon fall, I would have let go and grapple form of the grapple. I would have released the grapple, and I would have flown to where I would have last assumed Tanzanite would be, and I'm going to try to start tearing away. Or I guess it depends. Would I know where she fell under? Can I tell?
Let's do a little retroactive perception check to see if you noted where she was as you were trying to fly down. Your attention was on the dragon, not necessarily on your colleague underneath the dragon. So this is going to be a fairly high DC, but not impossibly high.
Well, the good news is the rock has advantage on wisdom perception checks that rely on sight. I'm just checking what the actual perception is. Wait, hold on. Okay. I rolled 2 18s. So I think 22.
22.
Great. As you kind of back wing away from the grapple that you had on and hover for a moment, the 150-foot wingspan of this collapsed dragon covers much of the field that it is in. The 120 feet of length to the body is also an enormous space. But you think you had spotted a little flicker of shadow towards the tail,
Okay.
towards kind of where the joint of the tail is with the rear legs of this beast would have been.
So as a question, what question to the DM, what size is the dragon considered?
Oh, this is ancient dragons are ridiculous. I gotta pull up my little list here, but they're considered gargantuan.
Okay. Because so
I think
am
they're
I right
they're
now.
like comparable in size, or I think, right? Like the rock and the dragon.
There's a big difference between the rock and the dragon. If you let me go pull up the little list that I have here for the dragon, for the rock. I mean,
Burr-da-dur-da-dur.
Go find my thing. They are definitely similar, but they're not.
I'm just okay. So the thing is I would have gone over, and if I could, I would try to move the tail, like to pick up the tail and like fly and like try to move the tail. I don't know if that's folly based, like I don't have an idea of size comparison.
Yeah. So here's the problem with gargantuan, because gargantuan is kind of the top level of size in D&D. And gargantuan is a creature that is at least 20 feet by 20 feet or larger.
Okay.
And
So
for the
including
rock,
but not limited to,
for
basically.
the rock, generally, although the one that we had that Asher had spotted that he's able to replicate is a young rock, a full-grown adult rock, just as an FYI, or anybody who's watching is going to go fact check me, I believe is 200 feet wingspan. But their body is not that big. So when you look at this dragon, the body is enormous. It's 120 feet long,
Right.
from nose to tail, plus 150 feet of wingspan. So it is significantly larger than you.
Okay.
But you both qualify as gargantuan. And in terms of the mechanics around strength checks and things like that, you're pretty much consider yourself to be two medium creatures having a good time.
Okay, but could I lift the tail?
With an
Just the tail.
With an adequate strength check, are you trying to fly up with it, or are you trying to?
I mean, I guess I would try to fly first. And if that didn't work, then I guess I would try to maybe muscle
I think
it.
because you're in the body of the rock and you have those automatic things of like knowing how to fly when you're polymorphed, because polymorph is a spell and magic is cool and it does things for you. You'd be aware that you're at a better advantage using your wings as leverage than you would be on the ground.
Okay. So yes, I attempt to pick up the tail and at least move it so
Roll that strength check for dead weight.
Okay. Actually.
Rocks are cool, by the way.
Ooh. Okay. 28?
Rocks are cooler. Awesome. Yes. So with a 28, you grasp the tail and you begin to lift. Tanzanite, you can feel a release. You can't still see anything because the shadows that are protecting you. But you can feel a little bit of release of pressure. It's a little bit lighter than it was before. But as that release of pressure happens, you can also feel that the acids that have been surrounding your shield of shadow just pour forth for a moment, and you hear a heightened scream from your shadows before the pressure is released. To your perspective, Trixie, you're picking up the tail because you can't see under it when you're picking it up. Asher, are you in that zone looking, or?
I guess I'm trying to see if I could see her because I knew she was under there.
So I would say that you, this is terrible, but in our last session, we pre-session saw a dog's bum. And it's kind of like the rock is lifting the tail and you're seeing the bum of a dragon, a black dragon, and there against the black dragon is a darker patch of shadow. Still slightly wedged, but possibly free.
But
Acids pouring from a wound in the dragon and creating a saturated area around that little shadow egg.
Cocoon. Shadow cocoon.
Shadow cocoon. I'm trying to avoid having the dragon lay a tanzanite egg.
As soon as I would have felt that release, I'm probably going to regret this, but what she would have done is gotten rid of the shadows so that they're not hurt anymore, and then I would have Misty stepped 30 feet to at least get out from under the tail.
So with the dismissal and then the Misty Step right after that, I just want you to I think Misty Step has... Oh, my memory is so good. It's just like a banana. You slide all over it. Slippery and intangible.
What?
Banana peel? Is that what you're looking for?
I don't know what I'm saying anymore.
Oh dear. Oh dear.
So you wave to dismiss the shadows and see acid falling towards you. There is a vocal component is all that there is to Misty Step, and it's a bonus action. It's instantaneous. It's super, super fast. So I just want you to roll a dexterity check, and I don't want you to roll a 1, because if you roll a 1, you're going to get burned.
Okay. Wait, where's all my stuff?
Will she
There we go.
live? Will she live? Please don't roll.
Oh no!
No, you didn't roll 1. You didn't roll 1.
A 2
Oh Jesus!
plus 3.
Oh,
Okay.
Jesus.
Um,
Oh God, you scared me.
and I think she actually scares your characters. I think Asher and Trixie, you see the shadow, the dark shadow Asher, out, and you see Tanzanite and acid just splashes all around her, and you see nothing else.
Oh shit! And I'm just gonna like run towards the acid where it splashed down where she was.
Tanzanite, cool mist envelops you, and without thought of your direction, you just gave yourself a space to get out of this mess that you're in, and the mist part, and as the mist part, you see Asher running towards this humongous pile of black dragon flesh and acid that's pouring all over into this field, slowly melting it, and above, holding aloft, strength, just quivering wing tendons, holding this huge tail up, because nobody's told her that you're wherever you are. And honestly, she probably shouldn't drop it, because that would be a big splash. That is what you see, Tanzanite. Asher running it straight into the acid, towards the acid, not there yet, but what do you say or do, or do you let him run?
Just let me
Imagine
die.
if I was just like, oh, look at him go. Very good. No. I yelled at
Good on you.
Asher and I'm like, stop! Over here!
Break time.
Skidding in the still destroyed field. There's acid everywhere, really, and most of it's evaporated enough or decomposed enough that it's no longer burning anything. But it has created a terrain that is difficult terrain, squelchy, gross, swampy. This dragon was trying to make a new lair, and you slide in that muck for a little bit, turning to look over at Tanzanite.
And I'm gonna run back the other way, away from the muck, so I don't
Okay.
get acidy.
I think at this point, Trixie, especially with the high wisdom that and perception that rocks have, you do note two small figures running away from the disgusting muck.
Can I tell if they're far enough away that I can just drop the tail?
You know when.
Okay.
So when you say when, it's time.
Okay. When? I could never play a game of chicken.
The tidal wave of acid splashing out and almost assisting in the decomposition of itself, like eating away at the carcass of this dragon, is just this pool of fetid acid and clearly destroyed farmland. Nothing will grow here for quite a long time without serious intervention. Yeah, you are successful, and you three appear to have slain a dragon. And at just that moment, you hear
I don't know
the
if
clanking
we
of
slain it.
dwarves.
They did say appear to. I mean,
And you hear the clunk, 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 as the
the
legions.
dwarfs come marching one by one. Hurrah!
Hurrah,
Hurrah!
hurrah. They come emerging from underground out of multiple exits, quite loudly, and
We've
stop.
got to teach them to be quiet.
Meh.
And you see them all pause, and then a couple of individuals call a halt, and you hear the relayed orders. I think somebody described it as the 5 armies of dwarves at some point. And one of the new members of the ruling council comes up away from the ranks and very carefully skirts around the hugely damaged acid pond or pool, or maybe even a lake that is the center of where the draconid corpse continues to decompose, and approaches you all.
Is Trixie clear of the acid now?
She is flying.
I would have come over. Yeah, I would have flown over and like kind of landed a little bit behind so that I didn't buffet them over with
Okay.
my landing,
So-
and then like
And then I'm just gonna like wave my hand and
Let go of
dismiss
the
yeah.
Oh,
concentration.
you're little again.
The feathers fly off into a million directions before also fading into oblivion.
Tastes like dragon eyeball.
It's a
I
nice
don't wanna
limey
talk-
flavor.
I don't want to talk about it.
It's vinegar that's gone wrong.
Oh,
I'm gonna look at the
It's
dragon. I'm gonna
for-
look at the council member. And I'm gonna be like, so about the trade thing. Does anybody know how to make dragon leather armor?
I don't know if there's anything left of it.
You see this council member look back at this decomposing corpse. We'll figure it out. And immediately you hear a shouted order, and then several pike bearers march forward cautiously, extremely cautiously, and begin a process of fishing out whatever is available.
Does it have like any kind of loot that we could get to besides like meat and bones and things?
Yeah, roll a perception check.
I guess I would assist because I would probably at least be
That
examining.
is a nat 20. Boom.
Well,
Okay.
well, fuck you then.
You don't
Trixie,
need your
could you
help.
go ahead and roll a perception check as well? Because you have a slightly different perspective. He's not going to get something that you.
A slightly different perspective.
No,
Slightly.
You were a flying creature that engaged a specific part of its anatomy.
With my bonus.
That's
28.
not a nat 20. Let me go back. It's a 12.
Okay. That taste in your mouth is very different than a generic acid taste. It's something directly from the eyeball, and there is another eyeball. And it's creating curiosity. Asher, these sections, especially along the jaw, where acid had eroded and then the flesh had survived, and it created kind of this bone-like carapace. Those sections, from both what you remember, but also seeing how they don't melt in the acid, they definitely have a different and interesting set of properties. The other pieces are, there's all sorts of folklore around dragon parts that is pre-disaster of the world. Don't know how much of that is true, but if any of the mysteries and stories you've heard are true, almost every part of this dragon has potential in the right hands.
I'm gonna relay all of that to like the dwarven council member. Just be like, you know, like the bones can make really good weapons or like whatever. And just like tell him everything that I've ever read about dragons.
Awesome. So Asher's sharing all this information. Trixie, you have this thought about the eyeball and that very strange chemical composition. Something reminds you of some of the potions you've been working on recently. And Tanzanite, what are you up to?
I want to check on my shadows.
Okay. How do you think you go about checking on your shadows?
I fall to my knees on the ground and play with my shadow. I'm like, are you okay? What's wrong? Because I don't know if it's like their own shadows or my shadow, so I just go to the first shadow I see and I just like CPR my shadow.
Okay. That's not at all distracting. I hope everybody else is successful in what they're trying to do, because you can see this, Asher, that the council member, as you're relaying this, is looking down going, the rib bones bows. Is she okay?
Yes.
I just look up and I go, my shadow.
I'm gonna say, hang on. I'm gonna say, once upon a heal, I learned to heal a whole group, enjoy, and feel better. Oh, wait, enjoy, feel better. That's it. And I'm gonna cast Mass Cure Wounds, targeting her shadows, if I can.
Okay, cool. Roll the health for that. Tanzanite, you're gonna get splash heal from this.
Wow, that's a shitty roll. 10.
Okay, so Tanzanite, you gain 10 hit points.
Cool.
And as you gain those 10 hit points, you notice that your shadow is not attached. And it's curled up on its side.
How very Peter Pan.
Breathing very slowly.
I big spoon it. And I do something. I also cure wounds it. Can I cure wounds myself? I don't know how this works.
As you cure wounds again, it has no more room for hit points, mechanically speaking. So as you cast Cure Wounds into it, because it got fully healed with Asher's work, you can feel that it just gets pushed back at you, and the spell fizzles. There's no room for it to heal more, for the shadows to become more shadowy. And I would say that you definitely need to take care of it. But
I'm going to walk over to the shadow and be like, my father has multiple personalities, but he's good people. Last time I told jokes to the shadows, they got stronger. I'm just checking.
Yeah. They're
That
currently
took me a
considered to be
second.
unconscious right now, so I'm not going to be able to save that. But just I like that. That's. But okay. So Trixie, what are you up to, if anything? The two shadow talkers are having their shadowy moment, playing in the shade.
I guess there's no way to get close, I'm assuming, to the dragon's head without stepping in acid.
The head is at one of the ends, and it's a little bit more uphill.
Really?
I think that the thing of this is like the acids pool towards the center of the body, and the head
Okay.
is up higher right now. So the head is actually one of the few parts, including the wingtips, which are being dragged apart and dragged off of the corpse. But the head is one of the areas that is not currently drenched in its own acids. You can just see that as the acids pour off of what is left of the head, that they don't erode that jawline of those leathers there. And you can already see that several of the dwarves have followed Asher's suggestions and are busy trying to figure out how to remove these very resilient bits of material.
Okay. I'm going to gingerly pick my way over there. And I'm going to see if the eyeball is still intact. The one that I didn't attack.
Very much so. When you go around, you can see that the eyelid has burned away, but the eyeball is still there.
Okay. I'm going to pull out my shovel.
Oh, gross.
I'm gonna take her out. I'm
Carve
like,
out your eyes with a spoon.
be like, I'm sorry, this is the first thing that we're experiencing together, but you're kind of the best one for the job right now. And I just like I try to get it like wedged so that I can pop the eye out.
So, because this is truly using the shovel for its original purpose, I would love for you to just roll this as an attack roll.
Good thing I tuned. Oh God, sorry.
Oh, please roll in that one.
Ooh. That's not What a waste.
So describe to me how this eyeball comes free.
I mean, I would have done all I could to make sure that it, was going to happen as easily as possible. So kind of like you do with like a half of a grapefruit with the spoon, you kind of like go around and make sure that it's all kind of separated. I'm sorry.
It's fine. Keep going.
and at which point I would have just, used leverage to pop it out. That's all she wrote. Sorry, you asked me to describe it.
The folks around you are just the people behind you here. As you like kind of wedge your way around it, and then as you get to that last bit, and it just kind of releases. And attached to the eye is this long nerve that went back into the brain. And probably with a really swift chop, you could actually sever that thing.
Yeah.
And your shovel is now drenched in the essence of a black dragon.
Is it okay?
Looks pristine, undamaged.
Okay. That
Can
was
I
my
get-
only concern.
Yeah.
Jill just gave me this.
I'm gonna get on top of my animated box, which is still floating around, and then ride it like a flying carpet over above the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And then I am going to did not think this through. Okay, I'm gonna say acid burning all. Let's neutralize it quickly with this baking soda. I'm gonna summon in the air like a large. I think I could do large right now. As much baking soda as I can,
Oh
and it will just go like down onto the like
corpse.
acid that's everywhere burning into the ground. And
Is that all that's gonna happen?
Well, you've all seen what happens when acid and baking soda interact.
Does
Mhm.
it still have
yeah, but it
baking soda?
neutralizes it,
Oh,
so
yeah.
it stops burning.
Oh, it definitely stops burning for a moment. But you've all seen what happens with that combination, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be like, oh yeah, back up.
Where?
It starts off slow, but it builds. And kind of like a Mentos in a Coke bottle, it finally... The stench of acid rotted...
I'm just gonna fly away on my magic flying carpet box.
Dragon kind of explodes out everywhere. But you've preserved more of the corpse than would otherwise have been preserved, and you may have done something to mitigate some of the harm done to the farmlands. I would say over the course of the rest of the day, the dwarven folk are going to, and they are dwarves, they are going to continue to, they're pre-dwarf dwarves, they're going to continue to harvest and work away at the corpse. Jill comes out, black circles under both eyes as she's once again woken up before she got a chance to rest. But
Can I give her the
seems
food
gleeful.
that I got
Certainly,
for her?
certainly. She seems gleeful.
Please eat
as
before
she,
the next time you sleep. Sorry, I'm done.
as she creates a siphon out of various components and begins taking what acid was not destroyed in the chemical reaction and fills bladders that seem to be holding up to the acidity for future experiments of her own devising and an interest. Science. But yeah, that bit is done. Unfortunately, you're without an airship. But you do have magic circles. Some of your crew are not here. Asher, you have made, I'll call it eye contact with your partner in the development of the program that you've been developing. She is, I think that just in case Tanzanite or Trixie see her, they'll only know her as Vaughn, but you do catch sight of her as she's integrating with and developing things. So she did make it out of the airship successfully. The two medics are still underground working on the wounded. It has now increased a bit, so that's not a worry for you. But some of the crew are not in the vicinity, so hopefully they made it under, and that will require a little bit of searching to see if everybody made it out alive. But you are approached again by the council, and they say, well, you've done us a great service, and we have negotiations on the table. I suggest we reconvene those negotiations.
Oh, okay. Let's do that. All right. So, like, what's your primary export?
We didn't have one, but as you can see, and they gesture to all of the people working, we are successful armorers and weapon crafters. We also pride ourselves on our ability to delve and create safe spaces underground.
All right. So what if you help us fortify Underton and create a safe underground space in Canyonville so that everywhere has protection from dragon attacks?
And this is something we could do. The way you defended up here is something we would not have succeeded in. Many would have been lost in this space. Is there some special technique you used, or?
I used this ability I have that can turn a person into an animal, and I turned her into a very, very large bird monster, and she was able to kind of fight the dragon, but it was actually Veritar and the old council were able to do a lot of the damage as well, and they actually got the killing blow.
I see. Oh, we thought it was you. That's. It took us a while to get organized, to get up.
Yeah, we did our best, but we definitely had a lot of help. There's also the Gisserai were here, and 2 of them died.
Oh, we do apologize. To lose our allies is a stain on our honor.
It's not
No,
it's not your fault. It was a big dragon. And as you can see, there was a lot of acid involved.
You are forgiving, but we do feel we owe. And he kind of turns and looks at the other members, only 3 of which have come up at this point. And they all nod. We'll have a contract written up soon.
I think as long as we can all find ways to be mutually beneficial to each other, let's keep the alliance as a whole strong. That's what's most important to us.
Excellent. Dark days, but you are good people. And they
Also, a sweet suit of leather dragon armor would be awesome, but just throwing that out there.
They file down into the city, and you have options. What are you up to right now? What are you going to be doing? There's continued operation on removing of dragon parts. Trixie does have a very large eye.
I don't go with Trixie. She'd probably stand there just with this goopy eye, like
Beach ball.
It's
like,
more
hey,
than a beach ball.
what's
You know
with
those
the
things that
eyeball?
people go inside of the ball.
Oh yeah.
That's what you're handling right now.
Oh, like the ones that people play soccer in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I would be like, so what's with the eyeball?
I mean, the acid didn't affect it, so that just, and I kind of like just give it like a little bit like a kick with my foot. I think it deserves a little bit of attention. I'm not sure what, but maybe it can, help protect against acid, or I don't know. My
I'm just gonna like,
poke it.
So what are you doing?
I just reached out and poked it with my finger.
So as you poke it, you can feel the osmotic layer of the eyeball itself repels your hand like a hydrophobic object. And yet there's definitely something behind this that is definitely liquidy.
I'm gonna try to catch Jill's attention. She's still siphoning.
Yep, she is happily siphoning away. So how, like, you're just getting her attention and waving to her or something like that?
I mean, yeah, I don't know, like if I just need to like start rolling this thing kind of like a giant snowball towards her.
Will it fit in the floating box?
I don't know.
It's a little bit big, but you could, because the box is just sealed on all sides, you could precariously balance it on it, probably. Like, it's of the size that it could be on there if there were 2 people very carefully keeping it on. So
Gross.
Is that what you want to do?
No, that's not the right carrying
Here, you
mechanism.
you come with, and you can do your thingy, and then once we get it to where it needs to go.
Okay.
So I kind of like hand walk it over until I'm standing next to Jill, and I go, hey.
Yeah. What is? Oh.
Yeah, right. So, first of all, that, and I point to the acid, didn't destroy this. And I go to grab her hand, and I just like, I take her finger and I poke it.
She's like, once you have her poke it, which she was resistant to,
Yeah.
but now that she's actually touching it, she can't seem to stop herself. I wonder what we could create with this. It would be really, really great if this was like venomous snakes, and we could convert this fluid in here. Does anybody have a spigot, a syringe? I need to draw a sample, please.
I have a dart. Is that too?
Sure.
I mean, did we?
She
Anybody
holds
got
out
a
a
bucket?
She holds out a hand. Oh, don't worry about the bucket. We got this handled.
Okay, I hand her one of my darts.
She takes the dart and she just, without even waiting a beat, like clearly not the scientific method, she.
But also like very, very sleep deprived.
Yeah, and as she hits that in, she just holds it for a second and she looks over at you and goes, "If I remove this now, it's going to pour all over me."
And I like wait, and I like move my finger right next to the dart, and I say, after 3, so on go. Okay, 1, 2, 3, go. Okay, ready?
If it burns your hand,
It just to give you time to move out of the way. That's all.
1, 2,
2,
Her
3.
wisdom save sucked earlier.
Go.
She pops it out. Just like putting your finger over a hose, it's not an effective means of stopping it. But what comes out isn't an acid, but an oil.
Okay.
And you all get covered, who is close to you, get covered in this oil, which has a pleasant aroma, oddly enough. She immediately grabs one of the tubes that have been siphoning the acids, but this one is a fresh one, and she clamps it on there with a bunch of different tools and starts siphoning out the liquid. Could you, Trixie, and anybody else near this area when this
They would. I mean,
I helped move it over there, I guess. So.
Yeah, so you're there too. Go ahead and roll, all of you who are there.
Roll a stanky eyeball
a
juice.
Constitution saving throw.
I'm spooning my shadow, so am I there?
Yeah, you're not there.
12.
You're shadow spinning. 12. Awesome.
18.
18. Awesome. So, Trixie, you escape half of this, but you realize that you wish you hadn't braced yourself against it, because the oil that is all over you, it makes you feel really, really strong. And you realize that if you had taken that oil and put it on a weapon rather than your body, or maybe a piece of ammunition, that you could use this against a dragon. Asher, you got covered in this stuff. And Trixie, I need you to roll a wisdom saving throw.
Me?
Unless you have immunity to fear effects.
No. What is it? A wisdom save?
Jill totally failed.
Wisdom save. That's a 16.
Okay, you failed, and so did Jill.
Jesus.
You barely failed. You find Asher to be the most frightening thing you've ever seen. And you have to spend your movement running away from Asher.
Not again.
So as pale as I can go, being a red squirrel, maybe more like the color of Jason's shirt.
Yeah.
Instead of like
it's bright
a
orange
red.
for
Your
audio.
fur just all slicks back into that fear state.
Yeah. and like all of like my tail just goes like super bushy, as much as it can, covered in oil, and I am out of there. I'm running
Streak.
towards the cave. But am
Jill
I
does the
doing
same
like
thing.
everything? Like I grab her hand, and if she can't make it, I start carrying her.
Yeah, it's full on. And Asher, you're there, stuck holding the eyeball. You don't know why they suddenly ran from you, but this oil actually does. It feels pretty impressive. It's better
I'm gonna
than
try
suntan
to
oil.
siphon what she was siphoning like safely into some whatever container so that it doesn't get wasted.
You just take a little bit more of it somewhere else. Yeah. You notice after a while of being here that nobody comes within 150 feet of you. And eventually Trixie and Jill, you make the saving throw eventually, unless you want to just try to see if you can roll it. Wisdom save.
I will try.
Trixie's afraid of me forever.
It's dragon fear.
No,
Okay. It's a while. It's a while before
Yeah.
you see her again.
I'm just gonna be down in the cave. Just
Why did Asher become so freaking terrifying suddenly?
Probably his brute strength with his
Fast forward a little bit.
-1 modifier.
Tanzanite, you coax your shadow down underneath with you at some point, I'm sure. Trixie, you recover and have those moments of like, why did I? Asher, you come down, all cleaned up with. Unfortunately for you, having carried each of the buckets full of this, what is dragon oil, and clearly one of the properties is it can cause fear, but one of the other properties is that used on a weapon, this can be it adds 66 against a dragon.
wow.
Dragon specific with regard to ammunition or weapons.
Huh.
I gotta arm you with something because you're going after dragons at this point.
Yeah.
And you got buckets and buckets of this. You can decide if you're going to share it with the people down
Wait,
here.
66 damage against dragons? Is that...
6d6.
Oh, okay.
So when you score a hit, so to be clear about this, oil of Dragon's Bane, you coat a weapon with it, which takes a action, but you can do it ahead of time before a battle, and or a piece of ammunition. And any weapon or ammunition covered in the oil will do an additional 66 damage when the attack hits. The oil will dry after 1 hour and become inert.
Okay.
So you want it to be oily. So you can't like coat your stuff at 3 a.m. and expect it to still be effective at 4.
Okay. So
I
before I like deliver these buckets to Jill, I'm just gonna like, or when I get there or something, I'm gonna like find some vials and just like take. How many vials am I allowed to take with me?
You decide, but we'll describe each vial as a single coating. So
I would like some.
So maybe you're too afraid to come get it.
I am.
But you choose because you literally are the ones who did this. You took an entire eyeball.
Can I
You
find?
wouldn't have it without me.
Can I find vials in Jill's workshop?
Oh yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna take 20 vials of it and like distribute them amongst my team.
All right.
I'm
As you're
gonna
all
take 21 vials, so then we each get 7 that can divide it
7
evenly.
each. Okay. As you're all sitting down at the cider house, the mead house, having a bit of recovery, Trixie is back. Tanzanite, your shadow is still unconscious, but you feel confident that it's going to regain whatever it had lost. Because instead of being your shadow and being detached, it's now its own shadow, and you've seen your shadow again. And the still unconscious shadow
with
seems
me?
it keeps somehow following you, like just a little delayed. Like the shadow you cast is dragged along a little.
I try not to
and-
move very much throughout the night then. I try to find like a really comfy place. And I'm like, if you need me, you will come to me.
And the next morning, you hear at the door to the cider house.
Hello.
We have the contract. Hello?
Okay, we're coming. I get up. I go open the door.
I just added the oil as a custom item in my backpack so that we don't forget we have it.
That works. So all three of you are there when and Tanzanite, as you wake up, I think the first thing you probably looked for is your shadows, and you can feel them all around you again, invisible but restored, and there's a deeper connection. And actually, since you all slept, I will say this: you gained 2 levels.
Whoa!
Oh shit!
And Tanzanite, you had a dream.
Ooh, I had a dream.
Where you were in the realm, and let me describe this to you. And it's that fuzzy type of dream.
Fuzzy dream. Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So you are in a space that just the shadows here are deeper, and it feels like the shadows are infinite. And as you move through the space, you feel how it's reflected back in terms of the reality that you've been in. You can see the outline of the underground space that is the city, but it's just shadows. And then you, in the dream, leave the exit to the underground space, and what strikes you is there's just this lack of color and light. There's no sun, no moon, no stars. It's just an inky black vaulted sky. It looks like all the color has been leached out, leaving nothing but kind of a chromo removed cast space, and dimness is more the darker black, and brightness is the lighter black.
Mm-hmm.
As you sit there, you realize that even just intuitively, you realize this, that even should you light the space with a source of light that would normally work like a flame or fire, it would be cold and it wouldn't be bright. It would just be a lighter darkness in the darkness that is here. And it may not even work at all. It might just snuff out immediately. If it did succeed, though, and there was a spot of light, that brighter blackness would be visible in all directions for miles, at a range well beyond what would normally be of visibility. Gravity and time seem to be similar in feel as you're having this dream, but you can feel almost like a weighted blanket over your whole body, the thick magic of this space, the thick divine magic that belongs to you, and you belong to it. And then you wake up. And get ready for several dreams of that nature into the future.
Hey.
Trixie and Asher and Tanzanite, you'll wake up. You get roused by somebody from the council, maybe. The door opens and there's a young, very well dressed for a culture that does not view dressing up as a big deal, individual, much too young to be waking you up this early, with a huge sheaf of papers. And bowing, they pass it to you. Your lands and title?
Thank you.
I'm gonna take it and be like, I thought you didn't bow here.
I'm doing what you do. I watched you from the gallery.
Oh, you don't have to do that.
Oh, I practiced all night.
Oh, well,
It was
you did a good job.
It was a good bow. It just
I'm going to be on the ambassadorial team.
Cool. Good for you.
Yes. Apparently, I'm really good at learning things.
Well, maybe someday we'll see you in Overton or Canyonville at the embassies that we're going to build there.
Yeah, I'm excited. So the details of your deed and title, your rights into perpetuity, we are sending the other location information straight to the folks in Overton and Canyonville with regards to the embassy, and your fortress is at the peak of the underground space. I don't know if it is a slight that they gave it to you that's above ground, or if it was part of the protection idea. But I am happy to be your tour guide.
Tansy, you awake?
Yeah,
Hey, they gave us a fortress.
I know.
You okay?
I hurt my shadows.
Technically, the dragon did. It wasn't your fault.
But I pulled them up to cover me.
Well, I mean, they're there to help you, right?
I guess.
Did you try telling them a joke?
No. I don't know a joke. Will you tell it a joke? I like stick my hand up in some light so my shadow's on like the wall.
Why was 6 afraid of 7? Because 7, 8, 9.
I look at my shadow.
All right, I want to do two ridiculous things. First, Tanzanite, roll an insight check.
Okay.
Another joke off in the making.
7.
Never mind. The rest of it's all fine.
Oh God.
Okay. I can't tell you anymore.
Well, it doesn't seem to be running away, so I guess it didn't hurt it.
Do you think you feel up to going to seeing this place we got now?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe we will pick out a room to keep all your tiaras.
Yeah, okay.
I look at Asher and I go, I don't know what to do.
Do you need a hug or something?
I don't wait for her to answer. I like cannonball towards her and like knock her over in like a full body wrap hug.
I just go just hair.
Yeah?
You too.
I said, but I love you. I love you so much. Please don't be sad.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's go look at our house.
Okay. I think
Well,
it's technically an embassy, right? Like it doesn't belong
Well,
to
that's
us.
true.
The
Yeah.
young person looks up. Oh no. The embassy is down here. This is your fortress.
Oh,
Was that
Okay.
not-
Correction. Let's
No,
go look at
that's-
our fortress.
Yeah. No, I think at one point it was discussed that maybe we would also have an embassy here, and that would where we would be residing. And then it was kind of inferred that we should ask for more. So the house is perfect. And then I look over at Tanzanite and be like,
Can you describe what you look like?
Fortress. And what was your name again?
Oh, I'm Willem.
Could you spell that?
Yeah, who?
It's spelled just like it sounds.
Well,
What does it sound like again?
yeah, what does it sound
Villain.
like again?
Villain?
Villain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Fill in.
The inflection was just was
Berlin.
Berlin. Okay.
Yeah, got it.
Berlin.
Yeah.
Okay. It's just a little. We wanted to make sure we're saying it correctly when we address you. Please lead the way.
Okay. And with that, he kind of marches up, and you end up spiraling up a long way. And it's kind of like the traversal is fairly significant, but you do know that you're still within the complex that is the city. And this feels like it's more on the side of those things that were kept secret, not where the marketplace was, not where the first chamber that you were brought to was, but definitely deeper but higher. And you end up coming out on top of a mountain, and he walks out onto this little plateau bit for a little bit and turns around as you are following him, and he gestures up and he points up to this huge space. The entryway, it looks like a tunnel excavated a bit, just like a few dozens of feet of brick and mortar extruding out, but up against a cliff face are these very austere looking, straight columned towers that seem part retaining wall for the mountain, but also part rampart and defensive structure, with 1, 2, and then the center set, and they come in pairs. So it's a total of 6 of these kind of upreaching spaces, but the center set, the 2 that bracket where the gated piece actually plunges into the mountain, reach up even higher, and up at the top you can see torches are lit and there are crenellations up there. It is probably a 4 or 5 story structure built into the mountain. And then looking over this plateau, you can see that it's mostly meadow grass that like mountain goats might be able to eat, but nothing truly, it's too rocky in nature, nothing truly successful for your average livestock or whatnot. So you can see why this might not have been a prime location, except for its nature as an outlet to the higher reaches of this somewhat hilly valley. And walking, if you chose to walk to a little archway that kind of swoops down and then plunges itself into the ground, you can see a pathway leading on the outside of the mountain back down into the valleys where the farmlands were. It's quite a distance from that main space, but you just in viewing this, you can see the whole scope of the ground above the dwarven city and home. And it's very clear from how this is placed that this was one of the early attempts at defensive structures for outside incursions, but not necessarily something that they were very successful at utilizing.
So are there windows, like windowed spaces, or is it only just the ramparts that are?
You can see that there are some very thin openings on those columns that I mentioned, but the general visage of the space is pretty austere, pretty blank. It looks pretty uninviting from a open, spacious sense. It looks much more in the zone of formidable.
Trixie yells out, "If there's a room with a window, I call it."
the young dwarf looks at you. We can build windows. They're not exactly safe.
Well, I just need something so I can get a little bit of fresh air because I grew up in trees, so being underground, occasionally is fine, but I gotta have fresh air. I just maybe we can
I'll
figure
relay
out
your
some sort of
request to
shutter
the staff.
situation. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, your staff number's 10.
Okay.
2 are of maintenance. 1 is of grounds, and the rest various duties like cooking and caretaking for the space and cleaning. You can hire more if there's other things that you need, but the city will cover the 10's
Okay.
wages.
And they're being paid fairly, yes?
What is
Uh,
fair to you?
I just, what someone of their trade is enough, for them to be comfortably housed and to take care of any family
Well,
they may
they,
have.
they,
And
they live here and their families live here.
oh, okay. Oh, great. More people.
Yes, as the ones with the title, you are their caretakers and protectors. And yes.
Okay, we'll figure it out.
Should we not have had staff?
No. That's absolutely fine. I didn't. I've never even had my own room, so it's going to be a learning experience. I think maybe the only person who probably has anything close to this kind of experience is Tanzanite over here, but we'll figure it out, and hopefully they'll be gracious with us as we learn how
What do you mean by titles?
You also, it's in the paperwork. As you thumb through the very thick volume, you can see that they have claimed you as lords and ladies, but it's not with any distinction between the two gendered names. It's that Trixie, Tanzanite, and Asher, lords and ladies of the realm. And it's very clear, looking at the titling and everything, that they had to make something up for you. It definitely has that hesitancy in how it was written.
That's kind. And I look over at Tanzanite and I say, well, it's better than pirate.
I lean over to Lynn and I go, "She's a pirate queen."
Oh, we'll correct that immediately.
No
worries.
Thank you. As it should be.
And any other changes to the titles that we should be aware of?
Hey, Bill.
Yeah, actually, the guy right there, he's Lord Master
Lord
Silly
Master.
Pants.
Okay, that's enough.
That's not a thing.
Lord Master.
Felon, I
Pants.
apologize.
Hey, Tanzanite.
She is fooling with you. I apologize. She is goofing with you.
But the
Please
pirate
disregard.
queen is real.
No, I am not actually a pirate queen. That is a rumor.
Hey, Bill, and do you know, speaking of the Pirate Queen, do you know if the crew of our airship has turned up around the city?
Oh yeah.
Overnight?
Yes. Two individuals of your, and he gestures at Asher, of your similar build and look, are being cared for at the cider house.
You were just there.
They have rooms at the back.
Okay.
The proprietor has vacated temporarily to make sure that your group could stay together until we were able to come up with this space for you.
Oh, well, that was kind of them.
They can be moved here, or they can remain. It's up
I mean,
to
if they're in good enough health to move, we can have them moved here for now.
excellent, excellent.
If
Um,
possible, could you also let my apprentices know of our new lodgings? My 2 apprentices that were helping with healing.
Excellent. I will need to get on this right away. Excuse me?
Hey, Bill.
Thank you for all your help.
Hey, Bill.
Yes, Lord Asher?
Why don't pirates shower before they walk the plank?
I did not.
Because they just wash up on shore.
Thank you.
Yep.
That's sound.
And I glare at Asher, not Balin. Or Billin.
Billin.
Bill
Bill and in. So Billin scurries off, and depending on what you're all up to, the people here.
I round on Tanzanite. Listen. This whole pirate queen thing. Like,
Hey, you're the one who's a pirate queen. You should just not be a pirate queen. Listen to the people.
you know what would be really helpful?
If I take the
stop.
room with the window and I run inside.
Don't you dare, and I chase after her. I am faster than you. Don't you dare. I
So
chase after her.
this is a fun point for us to just do this and have a little bit of a. This episode will wind down in this space, I think. Describe to me how you make your home. Aside from the exterior, which can be adjusted, windows can be created within reason, but the 3 of you, just describe where you end up taking residence, what rooms might be in common. This is a house building episode.
Hey. Okay. I can go first if people need time to think.
Yeah.
Okay. So
She first has to throw Tanzanite out of the room. And
Yes.
she obviously beat her to it.
pick her up by the back of the neck and just but the main reason she wants a window is because she wants to set up some sort of hammock so that she can hang and like see out the window.
Mm-hmm.
She would also have at least one wall that would be shelves with books about both at least the military strategies that the Alliance is currently like using or studying, and also like all of her notes and her mother, anything like any materials her mother has shared with her of healing techniques and such. A little, not quite like an alchemy table, but like just, mortar and pestle, couple of tubes, test tube kind of thing, couple of vials, couple of spots for some solutions, just to kind of keep up on her research when she has the time for it. And then on the last wall, like next to the door, I want like a little kind of like, I don't know how to just like thing, like a rack, I guess, to put my shovel on, so that like when I go to, if I need to make a quick exit, I can just like grab it on my way out.
Awesome. Yeah. All right.
Like the family sword above the fireplace.
It's now an artifact and relic of the great pirate queen Trixie.
I still haven't come up with a name yet.
Hero of the first age. Asher or Tanzanite, do either of you have a room or shared room description of a space in this building?
I would have loved, Tanzanite would have loved a larger, more windowless room, like very much a la her old bedroom. Definitely like if almost like if you could imagine like a really cozy, comfortable room made of crystals. Like as close to that as you could like she would have access to like decorate. As well as it's still being cozy. Like you're not literally laying on a crystal because that would hurt, but it has like, almost luminescent lights and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, sure, with time you could work on that and build that
Yeah.
in and bring in different pieces over time. And yeah,
That'd be like the ultimate goal.
you can see like nuggets of that zone coming in as like a great display is brought in and a magical light inserted into the middle of it, and some other things that just over time grows into a cozy crystal steampunkish, I guess, cozy sort
Yeah.
of, or yeah. Okay. Asher, what about you?
I mean, honestly, he's probably going to just have a very simple room with like a bed and like a writing desk and like maybe like a chest to store some stuff. Like he's not, for all of his like ego and boasting, he doesn't have like super elaborate tastes. So like he maybe doesn't even know how, given his
Grew up
like
in
upbringing, his roots. So
I will say this. I think that Fawn comes to you at some point and encourages you to create some discrete ways of entering and leaving. And maybe even assists with the quiet construction of those spaces. Now, in terms of the whole group, are there any shared spaces that you want to describe, or is everybody just find it like there's a dining hall sort of space, there's a kitchen that is used by the staff, there's the staff's rooms, there's some meeting rooms of various sorts, but is there anything in particular that the group wants to make sure exists beyond the sleeping quarters that you've described?
Probably like a living room, a library, maybe like like our Knights of the Round Table room, and maybe even like a training room for Trixie with all the like medical things she may need. So if she needs to do like a training session in the place, she could. I think.
half clinic, half training dummies.
Yeah.
A double entendre training room.
You beat it up, you fix it, you heal the person.
Yeah.
and you beat it up again.
I had something else. No. It's in the living room. Nope, it's gone. Maybe I'll think of it. Retrace my mental steps. Something for all of us. Oh, somewhere to like, well, maybe not necessarily like an armory, but like somewhere to store weapons, artifacts, like anything that we kind of acquire in our travels. I mean, I guess that could also double as like a library, but I was this close to calling it the reliquary. But
The Warehouse 13.
no, from our old campaign. But yeah, some sort of like, I guess a storage room.
Weird shit storage.
Yeah.
Okay. Like just the random shit crap that gets collected.
Yeah. The loot room.
Well, the old broken shovel goes in there.
Loot vault.
The loot vault. All right. So yeah, all of that stuff is put together. You are technically without an airship because of dragon issues, but I'm sure some of the components that were on there will also get stored in that space as well. Do you have any other?
I have a question.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Trixie.
The portals, are they, if they get connected to the system, can anyone who can use the portals use them, or can it be like blocked for specific usage?
So if you know about a permanent circle, which at this point, to as much as anybody's knowledge goes, the only people who can cast it and know about those permanent portals are 2 dead Githzerai, 1 living Githzerai who hasn't been to this particular one, so doesn't have the access to it because they have to visit it, either by being teleported there, which is what was going to be happening, or by long travel, and Nee, who hasn't been to this one either. The only person on the world that's still alive who knows where this particular portal is and has the access because they know where it's scribbled is Asher.
Well, I'm just wondering if it would be helpful to have one in our place, but like a way to keep people out of it if we need, like, I guess if we're the only ones that know about it.
So just to share what Asher would have to go through for that, he'd have to cast the portal on it for a year each day to make it permanent. That's what went into making the one that he was fixing.
Got it.
Although I could draw one,
He can draw,
and as
quick
long
ones,
as like it doesn't get like wiped off the floor, we could theoretically use it. But
permanent one requires a little bit more. So
Just a thought.
a project, maybe the next time you have downtime, maybe that's one of the things you add to the list. But
Downtime.
you know, in between. All right. So
did they make me did they make us anything from the dragon?
I will say this. I'm going to pull up the things that they've created for you. I'm going to say that you're probably here for at least. It's really up to you all how soon you start trying to reconnect with the world, because there is no airship anymore. There's nobody who can get here. And Nee doesn't have time to message you. I don't know if anybody else in your world would have time to message you right now, given what's going on in the world overall. And then they knew you were flying over here to work on this. So information isn't really going to leave here unless it's by the 3 of you.
Okay.
Okay. So how long would you take residence?
What was that?
Sorry.
The creaking, the weird squeegees.
That's what it was? Oh!
Okay. So how long would it be before you all tried to reconnect with Overton, Underton?
I feel like we would
Canterville?
try to message them fairly quickly and let them know that we were okay and that this place was attacked by a dragon and that we also have no airship.
Okay.
And I miss my dad.
Okay. So I will say that probably over this bit of time, you all figure things out. I think Trixie, yes, definitely. An aside thing. So you all have, say 10 days before the next thing is going to occur, and in that time there are going to be some because we get to play with the reality, right? There are going to be some deliveries. I want to communicate with you all offline because we're going to end this session, but I want to communicate with you all offline about what exactly you want your things to look like. Also, you're going to have to roll health points for your level ups. So if you're staying in your class, you can go ahead and roll those now.
I did. I rolled 2 2s. Yay me.
Ouch.
Wait, what are mine again? Mine are.
I think you're D8s.
You might be D10. One of us is D10, I think.
It's not me.
Tricks, no?
No.
Wait, where's
I'm
my
D8.
manage?
I rolled 2 8s.
So
Can I have
she
one?
stole your hit points. And
D&D, why are you so hard to use all of a sudden? Okay, here we go.
D&D.
D&D Beyond.
Okay, here we go. Edit.
I might have found a spell that would let Asher rip a hole in the ethereal plane. I'm just saying.
Going in full.
And I'm a D8. So because we're going up 2 levels, I roll 2 D8s.
Yep.
Okay.
Weird. I thought one of us was a 10.
Not me.
Not me.
But so next time we will find out what happened and you spent the 10 days just developing some of those skill sets and that last eeks of power and ability. And also got some supplies. And what I would like you all to do is we will, and this is what I like doing when I can give as much agency over to players as I possibly can. So anybody who's watching this and is wondering what the heck are you doing, you crazy DM, is I would love for you all to look for 4 levels worth in terms of rarities. So it could be one super, super rare thing, but 4 levels worth, or it could be 4 more normal things. So that, and we'll talk about this offline. I'll be more detail about it, but things that are spatial that you would like from the magic items list. And then we'll just draconically theme those as things coming from the dragon, if that works for you all.
And it's specifically weapons or armor?
Weapons, armor, wands, things that could be made from a dragon, or we can make the
Dragon wing couch.
Yeah. It could be
It's our new ship.
It could be that you took the leather from the dragon's wings and you spent the time and effort into writing 4 scrolls of a magical spell, or found somebody who could help you write those scrolls. And so it could be almost anything, but just draconically themed.
I might have to focus on raising my AC since I did not raise my hit points very much.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great thing to do, but like it's honestly a lot of fun to just run through and look through the magic items table and try to figure out something that would be fun, and then have also the freedom to describe it with a draconic bent. And based on the thematics from this last couple of sessions, our season 2 thematics, dragons gonna be a thing.
We should have just cut the head off the dragon so we could carry it around and be like, don't mess with us. We already did this.
Yeah, you carry that around. You see how that goes.
You're the strong one.
I
You have to
think you
carry
would
it.
fit inside of it. She would fit inside of the eye socket.
Yeah.
All right. But thank you all for joining us. We will resume our fun ridiculousness next weekend on the Sunday.
The 20.
The
No,
number
the
that's
30th.
before the 31st. So it's
The 30th.
spooky. And are we going to get spooky? Are we going to?
I mean, I will dress up.
I'm totally down to dress up. So if y'all are going to be spooky, I'll be spooky.
Jason's like, God damn it.
I'm telling you, it's the kilt. You just can't see it.
Now, are you going to wear just the kilt, or are you going to wear
Yes,
Nobody
the
wants to
kilt.
see that.
Just the kilt.
the kilt and nothing else?
Larissa's like, I want to see it.
I married you. If I didn't want to see it, I wouldn't have married you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We hope you subscribe, alert, etc., etc., etc. I can't. Please, happy days and all the loves. Bye.
Okay, bye.